Now introduce our second speaker, who is Dr. Lakshmini Vijayasundara, co-founder and chief executive officer, Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa and One Technologies. Lakshmini graduated from Imperial College, University of London in engineering in 1994, and she started out her career as a computer engineer and progressed to become today the CEO of One Technologies, leading her own engineering firm which caters to globally ranked companies including Citibank, Prudential, Victoria's Secret, Maybank, Stock Exchange of Malaysia, and many more. They are all global leaders in their spheres. She now handles the global strategy, marketing, sales, and operations by leading a highly talented, hand-picked super team at One Technologies. Lakshmini was also awarded the Female ICT Leader of the Year 2014 by the Computer Society of Sri Lanka. Let me now invite Lakshmini to make her presentation.
Firstly, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm quite honored to be here. Actually, my presentation, I think after seeing Mr. Madhuratnayaka's presentation, there's a lot of likeness. So before I actually start, we're all talking about the same thing. I think I see a lot of students as well as lecturers and eminent people from the industry. That I chose this topic. It's not about what we have to do or exactly more details of what we have to do, and Mr. Madhuratnayaka actually touched on a lot of them. It's sort of taking us out a little. I selected Singapore. It's a small country. It's much smaller than us. Size, everything, population. But the kind of results that they've got, especially in IT, I would say compared to Sri Lanka is outstanding. So it pretty much means surely we should be able to do, more than what they've achieved, literally, right? So that is why I chose Singapore. So let me just talk to you about the kind of agenda I'm going to touch on. So I'll initially, it's a short talk. So I'm going to touch on some areas. It's not very comprehensive, but it's about Singapore and the kind of things they've done for national development. I selected things which I thought were relevant in comparison to Sri Lanka, and then obviously Sri Lanka also. Mr. Madhuratnayaka actually is one of the key drivers in all these national development programs. So he has a lot more information than me. So touch on some of that. And then, in my understanding, as a person from the IT industry and who's been working in the IT industry for quite some time, I want to give a comparison and my take on it. And people such as you who are just coming out of the university for industry and lecturers who are guiding such people, I felt this would be kind of important just to kind of take ourselves away a little and dream big, really. That's what this talk is about for me. So firstly, I'll NCB. I think everybody knows ICTA, right? Here, ICTA. Does everybody sort of know that? So ICTA is an agency that was created in Sri Lanka. So NCB, back in 1981, I think some of you may not have been born even. So let's say over 35 years or about 35 years ago, that's when Singapore started. They had a head start. It was started by sort of visionary people. There was a lot of things going on, and they set very fundamental ideas on how national development should happen. And again, I stress, they were ahead of us. Okay, so there's a lot of catching up for us to do. So three areas I found is the civil services, that is ministries, government, etc. The other one is education, which actually is a very important one that Mr. Madhuratnayake also brought up. Education is something Singapore looked at very strongly. The third one, even at that time in the 80s, they found the service industry ICT as an important driver. I mean, that really would have been really visionary, because if you take Sri Lanka in the 80s, I don't think we had any thought of that. I don't know, I was pretty young as well at that time, but I think Singapore was very visionary in that sense. I have put a tick against each, because when we looked at the kind of achievement they made, it was outstanding. They achieved what they planned to do. So these are just some summarized information. Soon after they started this, 10 ministries itself were computerized immediately. And this is not the number 25 years after, but soon after, 10 were completely computerized. In terms of IT professionals, at that time there were only 800. I mean, it's an amazingly low figure. Just 800 IT professionals in 1980. Barely 18 years after, they made it 33,000. That's 40 times more. So their education strategy obviously was very good. Okay. Then, if you take the IT industry and revenue, there was 69 million Singapore dollars. Again, 500 times. I mean, like in Sri Lanka, we are still trying to reach 1 billion. I just want to sort of say it is possible. If a country small as Singapore did it, they have less people than us. I mean, I know we have, you know, all of us, and that this audience really is part of it, because we are from the computing industry. We will all play a certain role in this. So that is why it's important, you know, $1 million or $5 billion, I personally feel is something achievable and we can exceed, because Singapore has done it, right? So from a history point of view, by 1999-200, another role was taken by this gentleman called Michael Yap in Singapore. He was also very visionary. He had a lot to do with giving internet to literally the masses. Of course, remember, Singapore is quite a small country, so it's much easier to give everybody access to anything compared to, let's say, Sri Lanka, which is much larger. So in that sense, they have that advantage. But Michael Yap, I've read a lot about him. He personally, I mean, he is currently in industry. He's not in this government entity now, but he still strives on that kind of thing. And his main contribution I saw was internet. That was something that boosted the industry, giving access to that kind of ICT access. Sorry, I think, yeah. So, talking, I think I was on the wrong slide, but sorry. Yeah. So, thereafter in 1999, there was a transition. I think everybody who knows about ICT and government in Singapore is familiar with IDA. That's the company that is currently there. That's actually like ICTA here. That's the key driver of all national programs in Singapore. And some of the key things that I noticed is they have 10 to 15 year blocks of master plans. This is something also that we are doing. Mr. Madhuratnayake actually mentioned that, some of the national policies that we are doing. But this was, as I see it, one of the key success factors, because the government got together with the IDA. So IDA actually got all the information from teleco companies, ICT companies, and it was not done in a silo. They got together, and systematically, that's how they got these numbers. That's how they kind of, we know as Singapore as a hub, IT hub in Asia. That's how they achieved it. So I won't really go into these details of what exactly they did, but currently, what we see is they have progressed to a point that they call their program a smart nation. They even want to brand it, saying that there may be smart cities, maybe New York or San Francisco, but as a nation, as a country, Singapore will be the first smart nation. So it's again, it's a small country, so it's, size of the district of Colombo possibly. So, but see the branding. So it's something that we also as Sri Lankans, we have to do this kind of branding, and again, we are doing it because you would have seen from Mr. Madhuratnayaka's presentation, we have got a lot of global rankings up to now even. So we are on our way quite well. In terms of the kind of things they did, again, I won't go into much detail, but there's a lot of programs that they did. So each of these ministries, a lot of citizen-related services. So this is actually their eGov website. If you have time, in your leisure time, you can please go and check these out. It's very interesting. There's a lot of different types of services, citizen services, things like that. Having said that, we also are doing certain things in Sri Lanka, but they've done a lot. So, for example, citizens can pretty much do almost all their government-related services over internet or mobile without actually leaving their home, even payments, everything. So, I actually took some screenshots of the sites just so that it's easier to describe them. So, so this SingPass is a thing that every citizen pretty much has. It's something that we are striving to do in Sri Lanka. The e-Citizens portal, it's very attractive, it's very easy to use. I mean, the way they've designed it, things like that. And also I found this quite an interesting program called accreditation. So if you're a company and you can get this accreditation from the Singapore IDA, and it helps you actually to do services with the government. So these are little various techniques that they used to make things easier, to help companies and people in the IT community to contribute to government easily. Otherwise, sometimes you think, gosh, it's very difficult. To work with the government would be like, it'll take too long. It's a lot of red tape maybe. But Singapore broke all that. With various IT-related techniques, you can directly access the RFPs, things like that. Again, as I mentioned, Sri Lanka has, I'm not going to dwell on Sri Lanka right now, it's in the next section, but we did start that kind of activity. So there's some level of this activity already underway in Sri Lanka. Again, many of these are sort of slideshows from the sites that I took out so that you can see. So this Smart Nation concept doesn't really stop at websites. Have you heard of the thing called IoT, Internet of Things? Is there anyone in the audience who has heard that concept? Yes? So, okay. So for those who probably haven't heard of it, Internet of Things is the next thing happening. It's basically about things, about not your mobile, not your laptop. It's about anything really. It's about your watch. It's about some book maybe. Any kind of thing, your television, any other device that also is internet driven and can become intelligent. So even if you think of your AC switching off and on, because when you leave the house, when you leave your office, you already have your AC set up, or various things like that, or your alarm, everything can be controlled on internet. It also goes for like various things like, I'm just going to put the next slide, traffic. So before you leave your home or office, you know the traffic routes also, because all these sensors and all these things which are just normal things which are all connected on internet gives you intelligent information. So this is actually what Singapore is doing now, because they've gone past these websites and the whole thing now. Now they are doing this whole smart city, smart nation, and they have taken Jurong Lake district as a example area. So that's like a test lab. All the companies can come and do their programs, everything. So it's a probably in a couple of years. It's as you can see, it's a long-term thing. It's about another 10 years to go on this program. Every country in Asia probably will start modeling on the learnings and on the inventions that Singapore has done. So this is what they are doing next, right? So it's kind of interesting for us to see what kind of things they are doing. because maybe we can take those up a little early. We don't have to do everything they're doing, but maybe some of it, right? So this is their Smart Nation program. Going ahead another 10 years, 2015, up to about 2015. And as I mentioned, the Internet of Things, these things you wear, you look at your health, all sorts of things. I mean, since this is also a defense university, I mean, it could be used for various defense matters, like ring fencing, if you venture into a certain area, because it's devices, right? You can have sensors, it can be used for security, so many things. Again, I mean, since you're computer-related computing students and lecturers, this is like a whole new area that you all can sort of play with in terms of research. And this is something that Sri Lanka can actually take on, right? So Singapore is doing that. And they have even, I mean, in this slide you can see communication, health, entertainment, traffic, you name it, so many things, right? I'm just going to go through a couple of things. I think also Mr. Madhuratnayake also went through some statistics, so I'll be a little fast. But these statistics in Singapore is just to show you the kind of things that rankings they achieved, being a small company. So this slide, actually I've marked it in red. You can see in the e-governing ranking, they are like number 1, number 2 throughout, right? And I'll show you the kind of countries they were competing with. Okay, over here, e-government rankings, you can see even US, Canada, Sweden, some of these countries that we consider with very high standards. Singapore, with their methodologies, they beat everybody, right? So it's something that we can think as Sri Lankans. These are reachable levels if we actually also focus on this kind of thing on ICT, right? If you look at revenue, I mean, this is, I don't know whether you can see it properly, but they have in Singapore dollars in billions, right? Not in millions. Now, Sri Lanka is just reaching 1 billion. No? That's our goal right now. They are like 150, that is Sing billions, but that is about $80 billion. And this is Singapore, 80 times more than us, right? Not twice, not thrice, 80 times, right? So it's staggering, right? And I mean, I just want us to believe it is possible. Because I mean, we are people, they are people, it's a country, it's in Asia. So we have to think how we can get there, right? Results are already given, it's not impossible. So looking at, these are all other details, I won't really go into that, but even like, for instance, these things like business usage of computers, you'll see it's like 90%, almost everybody is using a computer. Now, if you take the statistics of Sri Lanka, we're not there yet. So these are the areas, I mean, literally, if you want to be that, we have to improve that. Usage of internet. Now, this is an area that anyway the government has taken on that. I'll show you when I show Sri Lanka, we are improving tremendously. But again, to get to these levels, there's a lot more to be done. Broadband. Broadband is, I mean, we're pretty good, but I mean, they are in the 90s. Right? Almost everyone has broadband in that country. So I'm just going to jump some of these. But you can see also how they grew, right? I mean, let's say 2014 to now, they also had a time frame to grow. And as I mentioned, we started late. So we have to accept that we are behind because we started late. But, obviously we can catch up faster, right? I mean, there's no one stopping us to expedite our move on all this. I'm jumping these a little, and here goes an area that even Mr. Madhuratnayake was talking about. Now, there are manpower numbers. Now, our manpower numbers, you saw that, right? 82,000. Their manpower numbers is 160,000. But their population is 1/4 of ours. So I think there was a question in the audience also. Is it possible? Do we have enough? Obviously not, right? look, if you look at the Singapore ratio, we should be like way more. With our 21, 22 million people, and there are 4 to 5 million people, they are double our ICT numbers. So that's definitely an area that, you know, overall us as well as the government and everybody has to have more people qualified on IT. It's shown in, it's shown as a success factor definitely, because, you know, if you don't have educated people in the industry, you cannot, I mean, you cannot get the nation to earn from them, right? You have to have the educated people. So again, just to summarize what I was saying, infrastructure. That was something I saw. So the internet in public places, giving it free, etc. Plus also giving, I mean, everything cannot be given free, so it has to sustain. So everybody having internet access at home, etc., by paying their monthly rental or whatever it is. So that access, that is fundamental. That's what I saw in Singapore. The other one is the people, the training of the people, the workforce. So there has to be adequate training institutions. So if the government is only taking, let's say, 30,000 of the 125,000, the rest have to be taken. Probably even more people. I mean, we are talking about the very qualified people on A levels, but even the people who qualify O levels should, if they are interested in IT, we should take them, right? Because we can't make these numbers if we don't pull them up. The third one was services. This is the area about the ministries and basically our lives. When we live, when we want to do things, for the country to have the basic services of all these ministries, let's say you want to get a revenue license, or you want to get your birth certificate done again, or even newly done, all these things to be available, land registries, company registries, you name it, all that. So that's the area anyway that Singapore has covered, you know, well before us, and that's the area actually that is being focused by ICTA right now. This slide I thought just to show you, I mean, I'm talking about Singapore, but I just wanted to put a perspective of Singapore. It's done great, but, you know, in Asia itself, there are numbers of, let's say, population is only 4 to 5 million, 5 million something right now. But their coverage and everything is great. Like if you take 80% internet coverage, but there are other countries, right? I mean, if you take Malaysia, it has 20 million internet users. It's a larger country, it's more difficult, but they, you know, their ranks are not bad. It's almost 70%, right? And then coming back to Sri Lanka, you can see we're 20%. And we have also roughly about 4 million internet users in a 20 million population. So we cannot be proud of it. We have to focus on that. Because if you are going to reach these number one ICT kind of ranking type of situations, right? So again, I'll jump this slide, but this was a slide I put in to discuss in most countries which actually did well, the governments pushed forward internet. They took a stand, they forced the telecos to put the internet, they helped them, there was funding, because infrastructure, it's like roads, right? The government, individuals don't go and put roads. So for internet or for ICT, internet is our road. So the government actually has to take those initiatives and help us, and then the rest of the corporate and individuals like all of us, we will take it forward, and, you know, revenue, turnover, all that comes in. But essentially, I mean, none of us as an individual can make internet better, right? So there's that focus is there. It seems, I saw some paper articles also about the government saying giving free Wi-Fi in certain spots and things like that. So it's welcoming. So again, some of these slides are just to show there was a lot of focus by the government on putting money and budgets into this ICT area. A lot of codes and practices. Let me take the next slide actually and show you. Even to show that if you are doing a building, now in Sri Lanka, if you are doing a building, you kind of tell your architect and you do it. Then after that, okay, there's broadband. So SLT comes in and says, there's no room for the box, or let's go and put it in the corridor, right? But in Singapore, you can't do it. Everything has to be, it's like your land planning certificate. You have to have all those codes and practices conformed. It's part of your building plan. So there's things like that also. I think these are all coming in Sri Lanka now. So if you look at, let's say, the IDA site, you'll see a lot of interaction. So first the government says, okay, they want to do this. Then all the telecos like Singtel, etc., have to write back and say, this is practical, this is not practical. There's a lot of government and enterprise correspondence before anything is formalized. Because time to time, or a lot of the time, what you hear is, okay, government try to do this great thing, but it's not practical, it's not workable, nobody can actually do it. So Singapore actually was smart in that way. They got the public participation involved, so that no one can actually say anything afterwards. It's taken. They should have answered it. So we saw a lot of clarification saying this can be done, this cannot be done. So each of these companies like Singtel, etc., they went forward and did things like that. So as I mentioned, there's a lot more they did, but let me just go to Sri Lanka, because also time-wise, I think I've overextended a little on Singapore. First thing I want to say is, now, if you recall, I said NCB started in 1980. That is 35 years ago. Sri Lanka's ICTA was formed in 2003. That's only 12 years ago. So we are not, we can't be equal in that sense. We started a lot later, but a lot of things have been done during the last 12 years with ICTA. In addition, I really want to mention entities like SLASCOM, CSSL, IEEE, etc., who also provide a lot of support to the government and the programs that are done in Sri Lanka. So ICTA was started in 2003, exactly like this master plan that I was talking, for the national policy to be set up with the cabinet ministers. So in fact, ICTA was exactly set up in that way, where they can coordinate with the telecos or whoever and help the cabinet ministers to sort things out with the public participation, right? East Sri Lanka was one of the main programs. Some of you might know about it because there's a lot of this, So a lot of things are done with, thanks to ICTA, a lot of things have been done. We are somewhere there, like Singapore, but so this was a very large $55 million fund which was put into the government, getting them set up. Lots of things happens. About 50 ministries got connected. IT professionals actually became 82,000, what Mr. Madhuratnayake said. After this, it was only 15,000 in 2003. So where we are now is part of ICTA's programs. Revenue also became 900 odd. It was only about 100, which was nothing in comparison, in 2005. So like I mentioned, just like Singapore, a lot of like revenue license, a lot of things, the nanosalars related to internet access. Also there's some recent ICTA pledges for free Wi-Fi, etc. There's a lot of activity. I'm sure you all know about these things also. And I might not go through this because I think Mr. Madhuratnayake already touched it, very comprehensively. We are getting there. Quite a lot of recognition is happening. So this internet usage, again, I keep stressing on it. It's a fundamental thing. We are growing. Right? It's really growing. But again, we are expecting a lot of help from the government, etc., to grow faster, because that is needed for getting more people into the ICT industry. Even the labor force, I think this topic of we've come to 82,000 people, it has to be like 8 times more, a lot more, right? So here's my comparison now of Singapore. This is a satellite image. You can see it's a little island, right? It's the size of maybe literally maybe whole of Colombo district. Actually, Colombo district is a little bigger. So this little space really, I mean, you can see it's like almost a dot here, right at the bottom, and you can see the size difference there. And if you take our people, we have 4 times more people. So, I mean, I'm not saying 1 to 1, but we should really be doing 4 times more than them. Our revenue, if they do 1 billion, we can do 4. I mean, it may not be exactly that, but from a trend point, right? So I'm looking at, I mean, you'll see all these red arrows down. It means our labor force is 50% smaller to that country. Our revenue is like incomparable. It's like 1% or something. Internet is 21, theirs is like 80% coverage. So many things, right? I'm just saying, I mean, this is just a dream. I want all of us to carry this dream. If we are 4 times them, our force of IT, all of us are included, should be about 600,000. We are just 82 now, right? 82,000. Our revenue could be like 320 billion. Because they are doing about 80, right? This is just a dream, but I just want us to think that. Because when we are planning, and you will, I'm sure when you get into industry, you will be in these committees with ICTA. Don't think small. Because if I ask them, if Singapore can do it, why is it that we are putting like 1 billion as our target? If Singapore did like in 2 to 3 years, right? Done, no? Yeah. So I think my time is also over, and this is the last slide really. This is again saying ICT. ICT is not one of the main export things currently in Sri Lanka, but we are like about maybe about 9% of the total exports. Rubber and all cannot grow. I mean, the land extent is getting less and less. So it, just like what Mr. Madhuratnayake said, we have to depend on things like ICT. We are currently at 1 billion. Already the plan is there to grow to 5 billion. I'm saying, we should target higher. And if you're in these committees, you need to kind of keep that. So that's. I'm just going to jump these things, but it's the same thing that he was saying. We need master plans. So I'm sure you all will be involved in these master plans. And this is my last slide actually. Professionalism. So as you can see, ICT is going to be like one of the main key industries in Sri Lanka. Whatever said and done, in 5 years it will be. So professionalism is important. I won't go into detail, but and it was touched on earlier also. We are the IT industry. So we are very important, and our ethics and professionalism and our focus to get this nation up is our duty, right? Okay, thank you.